You don't become a lighthouse keeper because you have a deep, poetic connection to the ocean. You take the posting because you are 26 years old and your life on the mainland has the structural integrity of wet ash. You have a business degree that thousands of other people also earned that year, a string of failed starts, debts you can't quite explain, and a profound inability to figure out what normal people do with their days. The plan, if you can generously call it a plan, is to sit on an isolated rock for 3 years, save the meager government salary because there is absolutely nowhere to spend it, and return to society as a stabilized, interesting man. One tour, out, done. You are not looking for anything permanent, because permanent is a word for people who have their lives together and you can barely keep a houseplant alive. You arrive at the offshore station with a canvas sea bag of cheap wool sweaters and the deeply unearned confidence of someone who thinks isolation is just a vacation from consequence. The reality of the rock hits you the moment the tender ship pulls away, leaving you staring at a monolithic granite cylinder rising out of the gray, churning Atlantic. It isn't romantic, it is a machine, and you are just the replaceable part meant to keep it turning. The living quarters smell permanently of heavy K1 kerosene, stale dampness, and old brass polish. Your entire existence shrinks to a spiral of exactly 142 cold iron stairs. You learn to sleep in intervals of 4 hours, your body forcibly adapting to the relentless, unforgiving rhythm of the 1870 United States Lighthouse board instructions. You eat salted pork and hardtack that tastes like dust. The pay is $400 a year, which sounds like money until you realize you're trading your youth for it. The other keeper is an old man who speaks strictly in grunts, leaving you entirely alone with the deafening, endless roar of the water. But then something strange happens. The weeks bleed into months, and the sheer, crushing repetition stops feeling like a prison and starts feeling like an anchor. You stop looking at the mainland. You stop waiting for the monthly supply ship. You find a deep, quiet comfort in the exactness of your duties. Every afternoon, you climb the 142 stairs. You carry the heavy brass oil measure. You clean the soot from the intricate multi-ton Fresnel men's with a soft linen cloth, touching the delicate glass prisms with the kind of tenderness most men reserve for their children. You trim the wick of the mechanical overflow lamp so the flame is cut exactly even, completely free from smoky points. If it isn't perfect, you do it again. You develop a devotion to this light that goes beyond duty. It becomes your entire purpose. You know exactly how the brass gears sound when they need oil. You know exactly how the heavy weights drop down the center of the tower to rotate the lens. You do the maintenance perfectly. You polish the brass until it looks like spun gold. The lighthouse board instructions are no longer a manual. They are your religion. They tell you what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, leaving absolutely no room for the messy, chaotic uncertainties of human life. You are building a life here. It doesn't have a name, but it fits perfectly. You watch the winter storms roll in, massive swells battering the base of the granite tower, and you feel entirely safe. The tower was mathematically designed to withstand the compressive stress of the sea. You trust the stone. You trust the thick lantern glass. You trust that as long as you keep the light burning, nothing can touch you. You are insulated from the painful world of the mainland, tucked away in a glowing mechanical womb, entirely devoted to a flame. But the sea is patient. It doesn't attack you all at once. It slowly, methodically grinds down your sanity over years, the way water smooths a jagged stone until there's nothing left to hold on to. 5 years turn into 8. 8 turns into 12. The other keepers come and go, taking their mainland lives with them, but you stay. You renew your contract without thinking. You stop writing letters. When the supply ship arrives, the sailors look at you differently. Your eyes are hollower. Your voice is raspy from lack of use. They bring newspapers from a world that is rapidly moving on without you. The world is getting louder, faster, and more complicated, and you are standing still on a rock in the ocean, wiping soot off a piece of glass. You realize you couldn't go back even if you wanted to. You wouldn't know how to speak to people. You wouldn't know how to exist in a room that isn't curved. The isolation stops being a comfort and becomes a physical weight pressing down on your chest. You stand on the gallery deck at night, looking at the distant, blinking lights of the coastline, and you feel a profound, terrifying disconnect. You are a ghost haunting a lighthouse that hasn't been abandoned yet. You start having conversations with the silence. You memorize the exact shape of every crack in the painted brickwork. You sit on your narrow cot, staring at the curved wall, and realize you have traded your entire existence for the maintenance of a lamp. The realization doesn't come with tears, it comes with a quiet, settling dread. The sea has successfully hollowed you out. It has taken your past, your future, and your capacity to belong anywhere else. It has prepared you for the final erasure, leaving you empty long before the water ever touches you. The climax of your tragedy doesn't arrive with a dramatic musical score. It happens on a Tuesday in November, during a storm that feels exactly like 100 storms before it. You are up in the lantern room. The wind is screaming at 120 decibels, a high-pitched hum that vibrates right through your jaw. You are standing beside the brilliant turning lens, feeling the familiar, comforting shudder of the granite beneath your boots. Then the rhythm of the ocean simply stops. The endless roar sucks backward into a terrifying, hollow silence. You press your hands against the cold glass and look out into the absolute dark. The sea has vanished. In its place is a towering, impossibly black wall blotting out the sky. A 100-foot rogue wave, gathering the kinetic energy of the entire storm into a single, unnatural behemoth. You don't scream. You don't run. There is nowhere to run. You just watch it come, accepting the verdict. It hits the tower with a catastrophic booming concussion that defies the laws of physics. 100 tons of hydrodynamic pressure per square meter slams into the masonry. The entire 4,000-ton tower bends, but the tragedy isn't the physical impact, it is the sound. The resonant frequency of the water against the stone finds the exact breaking point of the thick lantern glass. The panes don't just break, they explode inward with a deafening, agonizing shriek. Freezing, violent black water erupts into your sanctuary, instantly extinguishing the light. You are thrown backward against the iron gears, your body battered, your lungs instantly filling with freezing salt water. You are drowning inside the very place you built your entire life around. The wave washes over you, freezing and completely indifferent, smashing the delicate prisms you spent a decade polishing, and perfectly mirroring the absolute destruction of your own mind. The water recedes, draining down the spiral stairs in a chaotic waterfall. You are left lying on the grated iron floor in the suffocating dark, bleeding, freezing, and gasping for air. The storm still howls through the shattered panes, but inside the lantern room, the silence of the broken machinery is deafening. The light is dead. The clockwork is jammed. The 1870 instructions dictate that the light must never go out. You drag your broken body off the floor. You find the manual crank in the dark. You wrap your freezing hands around the iron handle, and you begin to turn the multi-ton lens by sheer force of will. You turn it, your muscles screaming in agony. But as you stand there in the dark, manually turning a broken machine in a shattered room, the true devastation finally lands. The granite held. You survived. But you realize with a cold, absolute certainty that there is nothing left of you to survive for. You will spend the rest of the night cranking this pier, and when morning comes, you will sweep up the glass, you will order new panes, you will fix the clockwork, you will go right back to the routine, because the routine is all that is left. You are permanently changed, hollowed out by the ocean, trapped in a quiet, never-ending cycle of tending a light for a world that has moved on without you. Ships will pass by in the night, looking up at your brilliant beam, using your exactness to navigate their own vibrant, messy, beautiful lives. They will never know about the ghost in the tower. They will never know about the 100-foot wave that broke him without killing him. You will just keep turning the crank. 142 stairs, the smell of kerosene, the cold brass, the endless, indifferent sea. Millions of people living millions of lives on the mainland, not one of them required to notice yours. There is always room on the ocean for one more quiet tragedy that nobody finishes reading.